Hey guys, let's get more news about Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Miami Heat tried and failed to acquire DeMar DeRozan and Tyus Jones. The Miami Heat have made no major additions to their roster this summer outside of drafting Kel'el Ware and signing Alec Burks. Their quiet offseason might not be due to a lack of trying, as ESPN's Bobby Marks has revealed the team aggressively pursued DeMar DeRozan and Tyus Jones, but could not get a deal done due to nobody wanting to take on Duncan Robinson's contract. They would have loved to get DeMar DeRozan. They tried as heck to get DeMar DeRozan, but nobody wanted Duncan Robinson, no offense. They have one first-round pick to trade. They wanted Tyus Jones, they couldn't make a deal here. Robinson is making $39.2 million over the next 2 seasons. While it isn't a completely untouchable contract for a player who is one of the best shooters in the NBA, it isn't a price teams want to pay for one-dimensional shooters anymore. The Heat cannot move off Robinson without adding draft assets, and it would be unwise for them to move off their remaining tradable pick for a Robinson salary dump. DeRozan was signed and traded to the Sacramento Kings, with the Kings finding cap dump partners in San Antonio to facilitate the acquisition. He averaged 24.0 points, 4.3 rebounds, and 5.3 assists last season. Tyus Jones' future is still unclear, with the point guard arguably the best remaining name on the market. He averaged 12.0 points and 7.3 assists last season for the Wizards. The Heat will likely keep trying to get a Tyus deal in their favor, but it's unclear who they can even target in free agency at this point. The Miami Heat have lost pace in the Eastern Conference. The Heat aren't one of the premier teams in the Eastern Conference after the franchise's inability to make needle-moving trades recently. They took a swing at adding Terry Rozier last season, but the move hasn't transformed them into a contender. Adding Jimmy Butler and Tyler Herro's consistent injury struggles to the mix, the Heat don't have enough to contend. The East has a clear top 3 in the Celtics, 76ers, and Knicks, with the Bucks still eyed as contenders by most. The Heat are arguably in a worse position than young teams like the Pacers and Cavaliers, while the Orlando Magic had also jumped them in the standings last season. They're looking like a play-in team on paper, something that won't help Bam Adebayo's desire to win Defensive Player of the Year. How Miami's pursuit of DeMar DeRozan went wrong. The Miami Heat tried and failed to land DeMar DeRozan via sign and trade this summer, and ESPN insider Bobby Marks has now revealed where things went wrong. They would have loved to get DeMar DeRozan, Marks said Thursday on NBA Today. They tried as heck to get DeMar DeRozan, nobody wanted Duncan Robinson, no offense. They had one first-round pick to trade. Miami's loss was Sacramento's gain, with DeRozan heading to the Kings on a 3-year, $74 million deal via a 3-team sign-and-trade deal. As part of the deal, Sacramento sent Chris Duarte, 2 second-round picks and cash considerations to Chicago, and Harrison Barnes and a 2031 pick swap to San Antonio. It's no surprise that Robinson didn't interest the Bulls, considering Chicago has begun to rebuild around young players. There's also the fact that Robinson is on a 5-year, $90 million contract and still has 2 years remaining, although only $9.8 million of his $19.8 million salary is guaranteed during the 2025-26 season. The Heat have done very little on the trade and free agency market this offseason, and DeRozan was one of the only big-name players still available. The Compton native averaged 24 points, 4.3 rebounds, and 5.3 assists for the Bulls last season. Steph Curry reacts to Team USA sending Kawhi Leonard home. Steph Curry has addressed Kawhi Leonard's sudden removal from Team USA, which came just 2 weeks out from the Olympics. Leonard did not appear to be entirely healthy when he reported for national duty, and this week Team USA made the decision to send him home in favor of Derek White. "I know he wanted to play," Curry told reporters. "Hopefully, for the long term, he's in a good place, because the game needs him. When he's not out there, you miss an all-time great player. We hope he's ready for this season." The Heat's decision to not trade Jimmy Butler could backfire, even as all signs point to a breakup between the Heat and Jimmy Butler in the 2025 offseason. the franchise remains adamant about keeping the superstar wing for another year. According to Barry Jackson of the Miami Herald, the Heat have no intention of trading Butler despite the looming threat of losing him for nothing as a free agent next year. Butler originally wanted an extension from the Heat this summer, but then changed his mind after Miami did not offer one, Jackson wrote. He now intends to play out this season and not sign an extension with any team and will become a free agent in the summer of 2025. The Heat is not shopping Butler, according to a source. The Heat are obviously taking a gamble holding on to Butler, who still has trade value and could fetch them back valuable pieces to pair with the likes of Bam Adebayo and Tyler Herro. The current team is not up to snuff to compete in an Eastern Conference that got significantly better this offseason. While the Knicks and Sixers made drastic roster upgrades, the young Magic are projected to be better after gaining postseason experience, and the Bucks will look to bounce back after a disappointing season. And, of course, the champion Celtics are not expected to skip a beat. As such, the Heat are rightfully projected to be a middle-of-the-pack team this upcoming season. Their best path to compete with the top teams out east could be to trade Butler and start anew. Conversely, Butler, too, is taking a gamble by not urging the Heat to trade him. According to multiple insiders, the six-time All-Star is betting on himself as a free agent next year rather than fast-tracking the path to his new home this year. There are two obstacles in his way: age and health. Butler turns 35 in September and has missed a combined 65 games over his last 3 years in South Beach. Heat president Pat Riley questioned Butler's endurance in May when he explained why his franchise wasn't willing to give him a contract extension. When Riley made those comments, it seemed inevitable that the Heat would move him. Instead, they're rolling the dice on Butler, in a contract year, to produce a magical season and take them back to the NBA Finals like he did on 2 previous occasions. The Butler Heat storyline will be one to closely follow through the 2024-25 season. And are you a fan? What do you think of Jimmy Butler's exit? Leave your opinion in the comments.